And usually when you're high, you get one bar in that's kind of good. It's not great.
No.
It's not like Slim Shady. It's not like Nipsey Hussle.
No.
But you get a bar where it just flows right. The rhymes are great. And you're just like, yeah, if I dedicated myself, I could be the greatest of all time. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure, but you couldn't be.
No, I could not.
Hey, it's Herbert. And you're listening to the About Last Night podcast, you slippery little son of a bitch.
About last night.
Who's your like favorite sitcom character? Like,
Man, probably. I really like Danny DeVito on Taxi, but I don't want to like not because I want to like play that part, but
it's great.
I mean, jokingly, Tony Danza on Who's the Boss was so good.
Yeah.
And that's such a funny premise for a show where like a guy is the like basically the cleaning lady
Yeah.
in a family where that like, and he's kind of like he's fucking the mom, and he's like, you know, the son's gay and
Especially for the time.
yeah,
For the time that show was out there. Taxi too. Taxi had some like risque.
yeah, What did they really? I mean, I feel like I really paid attention. Let me know when we're going, Giorgio. What are you puffing on? Nicotine or weed?
Nicotine.
Oh, you don't puff weed through a vape, do you?
No, you can.
Yeah.
I'm just.
Do you not smoke anymore?
I smoke weed. I have to do it at home.
Yeah.
Because the shit out here can get kind of strong.
Whoa.
And all the
you don't like to be publicly.
Yeah. Especially with the homeless on 6th Street. I like to be alert.
They have-
on 6th Street.
I thought you were saying, especially the weed that they're giving you.
Oh, dude. Yeah. It's great shit.
Have you ever taken weed from somebody or smoked it from somebody or just gotten so high where you're like, oh man, I got to stop doing this or I need to audition the people who give me drugs better?
Yeah.
Which one?
I did an edible. So I was in Little Rock, Arkansas, and the waitress, she goes, hey, do you want a 10 milligram edible? I was like, yeah, sure, that'd be
The
great.
waitress said that?
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, that'd be great for the ride home, because I was going to drive back to Dallas from there.
What happened prior to this conversation-wise where she was just like, felt comfy enough to offer you drugs?
Oh, I think, you know how in comedy clubs and stuff where it's like.
Oh, waitress at the club?
Yeah, at a club.
I thought this was like the diner.
No, it's not the
Because I know you're a
Denny's.
personable motherfucker, but I was
Yeah.
like, dude, what? She was, were you just like, yo, the syrup is good today, Patty? And she's
Oh, yeah.
like, it is. You're sweet. You want some edibles for the ride? Like, I was like, how did it quickly jump to that? But you do have a very affable disposition.
Yeah,
Continue.
I also strangers don't trust me with drugs. They have to get to know me because I do look kind of like a narc. I give off narcish vibes. Like, hey, you want to go smoke, the puff bars in the car? And they're like, who calls it puff bars?
Yeah. Is this guy a cop?
So she gives me 10 milligrams, and I take it, and then I get back to the condo. I was like packing. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna sleep here tonight and just drive in the morning. And hour 30 kicks in. I'm laying in bed, and I can't move. And like my body's like shaking, and like I had to pee, and I had to like teach myself how to walk again. I was like, this is not 10 milligrams.
No.
Right, it was awful. And the next morning I'm like, dude, was that 10 milligrams you gave me? And she goes, oh, I accidentally gave you 150.
Oh,
And I go, oh.
That's way more than 10.
Yeah.
150 will kill you.
I'm going in like, oh, this is gonna be chill. We're just gonna, I'll read a book. I'll read I'll finish the Da Vinci Code.
Yeah, by the way, you wrote a book in Spanish in your head backwards.
It was just the devil.
While you were asleep.
Yeah.
Wait a second. 150. I've only accidentally taken that much once, and it was about 100. And my heart was pounding so fast to where I was doing like a tap dance routine on the little makeshift patio balcony we had at our apartment.
Yeah.
Because I'd convinced myself, when you get that fucked up, you play a game with yourself called, hey, do this so your heart won't explode, starring me. And I was just like, do a step ball change, like river dance thing, otherwise my heart's gonna pop out of my chest. And I did it for about 7-8 minutes, and then I heard a guy from across the way in our apartment complex, after about 7-8 minutes, just go, are you okay? And I was like, oh, he just watched me do that for about 7 minutes before he thought, he's probably not rehearsing for something. This guy looks fucking damaged. But that is, the guys like Joey Diaz that will slam that.
Like 500.
Isn't that crazy?
I
don't want to be.
This is extreme. Those people need to go to a home. Like, if you're gonna do.
But
like,
Joey has built up a tolerance, I think, from just. I don't know. Maybe it's a mental thing too. Maybe you just don't.
They're tough.
Yeah.
That shows that we're weak. Maybe
it is.
Like we're mentally.
That's what it comes down to.
Like our moms hugged us a little bit too much. You know what I mean?
Did your mom hug you a lot?
My mom was she's a nice lady.
Are you more of a mama's boy or a daddy's girl?
I would say mama's boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, hands down.
What is I remember when we met in Dallas, hit it off right away. Because I was like, this guy's funny. He's affable, which I've said now twice, because you are. You're sweet. You always come in smiling, and you always look like a guy that you want to hug. Like whether you're just putting your arms out first, or because when you smile, it's infectious, and so you were a good hang. And then I remember we were getting high and driving around to I don't know do what, go to a bar maybe and meet some other comics.
I think
and having some good goofs. And you were telling me about your pops, and I refreshed my memory though, because it was I remember it was being so interesting, and I remember coming into today, I was like, I want him to share the deets of your dad's relation to you and like your comedy. He doesn't live here, right?
He lives in San Antonio. He lives like an hour away.
Right.
He's my dad is a West Point graduate.
Right.
Literally.
So was my stepdad.
Oh, really? Yeah. So you know how it is. It's
Yeah.
like he was literally like raised to go into the military because my grandpa served in the military, and they're like, my son, he's gonna get into one of the academies.
Wow.
So he really wanted me to go, and that just wasn't like for me. Like
Ever.
my mom's like a hippie type. She's a German like hippie type, and she was like, we're gonna fix this boy and make him, maybe go into one of the arts or something.
Cool.
But like he's just very, dude, it was crazy. Like when I told him, he's like, I was like, oh, I want to try comedy. He goes, just get like an office job and like write notes to people. He goes, write funny notes to people.
Is what your dad said?
Yeah. He
Just
goes,
to like try it out?
no, he just goes, that could be your comedy.
Oh, that can be your
You can be an
outlet for it.
accountant and just write like, hey, Brad.
funny math problems.
Yeah, you smell. And then go, Brad does smell.
Gotcha, burn. Hey, Brad. And then Brad's like, what the fuck, man? You're like, ha ha, the truth hurts, don't it?
Yeah. So yeah, he was like very intense. And also, I get it. He didn't believe in me at first because I get it. I was like a lazy kid in high school. Like I hated school. Never wanted to study.
From the get-go, huh?
Yeah, I wasn't bad in school. I would always pass. Like I had decent grades, but like I never.
Didn't apply yourself.
Yeah, I would just go for the B. I'd go like, if I get a B-, I'm fucking rocking it.
Yeah.
He's like, why don't you shoot for the 100? And I'm like, why? What's the point?
What's the point? Because why? You knew. I was that way with certain classes where I was like, I don't want to, especially math. I was like,
Yeah.
I know I'm not going to use the quadratic formula.
Yep.
So fuck yourself with it, Mrs. Schramm. No, and I just didn't want to put time and energy, even at that stage in life, into stuff where I was like, I know I'm not going to do it. And I didn't know comedy was going to be the thing, but I knew that like creative stuff was.
Yeah.
Right? Were you that same way where you're like, if it was something that I dug doing, I'll put all my time into it?
Like audio-visual classes, I would go the extra mile.
Cool.
Where the guy would be like, you only had to make like a 2-minute video, and I made like a 13-minute short film. Like I made a 2-minute version and then a 13-minute version. He goes, I guess I'll give you 10 extra points. And I was like, awesome.
What was the short film about? What was it called?
So...
Let's cut to a clip. No, we don't have a clip? Okay.
They're not good.
They're not-
No, yeah.
What was
So we
it?
made like it's this horror movie. It was like this home invasion movie with this guy wearing a mask, just starts slaughtering friends off one by one, and the friend comes out and he's like, "What are you doing?" It's awful. It's called I think Mr. Smile or Smile.
Smile's a good horror film name.
Yeah, and we bought this mask and we like painted over it, and it had like this creepy smile.
Cool.
So yeah, we did stuff like that. I love doing so.
And you acted in it as well?
Oh no, just directed.
Okay.
And then I went to Texas State, which is 30 minutes south of here, and it's Texas's biggest college. And I was doing an accounting degree. I went there, I was like, we'll figure something out. And it's a party school, so I went from like a military home sheltered life, where like my dad had like cameras around the house.
What?
Oh yeah, tracking device on my car. Like he knew where I was all the time in high school.
Tracking device on
Yes.
your car?
Yes.
What were you doing pre that made him go, we got to track this fuck?
I smoked a joint once. Yeah.
Truly, that's it?
Yeah. True. I was not.
And he was so anti-drug,
Yeah.
or he thought smoking a joint meant.
It goes smoking a joint, crystal meth, you're Ted Bundy. Like, yeah, in that order. Like,
So I got to track his every move to make sure he's not butt fucking a parakeet.
yeah.
We'll be right back. No. I wish I had a sponsor for parakeet food, and that was how I transitioned into it.
They're like, Adam, we can't work with you anymore.
Yeah, man.
Fucking the parakeet community is fucking pissed.
They're
They
very
love you.
offended. PETA's fine with it because a lot of their animals butt fuck, but the parakeet community has a hard stance on anal. Okay, so he puts up. How do you feel about that?
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird going like I would invite friends over, and he'd get a text like, where are you guys going? We would just leave to go 7-Eleven. Where are you guys going? Oh, we're going to 7-Eleven. He goes, you actually stopped at Walgreens first. What were you picking up there? Oh, yeah.
Wow.
How I learned I had the tracker on my car was they were going to go, what's the band, Hotel California?
Eagles.
Eagles. They were going to go see the Eagles. And a girl hit me up. This is junior year. I was like, I'll go hang out with this girl. We were going to go to the forest, fucking make out. Ooh.
Awesome.
Yeah, because I'm a nerd and making out. I was like, yeah.
By the way,
I was like, fucking.
No, dude, do not step over making out. A very cool move, especially at that stage in life. Even now, I think making out, is probably why a lot of these guys get in trouble for Me Tooing.
Yeah.
Slow it down, man.
Slow it down.
Stop reaching for a tit right away. Quit trying to grab the pussy, if you just made out first, you wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? And also, isn't it crazy to think that making out in the woods nowadays, if you were to ask a girl to go to the woods to make out, at that point, which was even 8 years ago maybe?
Probably 10, yeah.
A sweet romantic
thing.
gesture.
Yeah.
I would love to know if you polled how many girls.
Oh, murder. It's murder. They're gonna be like, no, I'm not going to the woods.
To fucking woods, Gary.
With Tony. Look at him.
Tony, look at
he
him.
has ketchup stains on. Is that ketchup or blood? So yeah, she goes, hey, let's hang out. And I was like, cool. And I was in trouble. I couldn't leave the house or whatever. But I was like, you know what? I'll fucking just go. The concert's 2 hours. I Googled how long the concerts were.
Good move.
I Googled how much the drive there was back. I even said, what if my dad likes to leave places early? He hates traffic. I was like, we'll subtract 30 minutes just in case he gets home early, And so
you really had to do this, by the way, all the time to get a full experience, right? Make sure that you knew when he was, so you just could avoid confrontation.
Anytime. I would just fucking figure shit out.
Wow.
So I used maybe the quadratic formula because I was mapping out. I was
Hilarious.
like,
Fuck you, dude. Look at you rubbing it in my face. Here I was being like, I don't need it. And you're like, you actually could have used it, man.
I can't wait. What if you're doing a set tonight and somehow you need the quadratic formula to solve?
For sure it's going to come back to haunt me at some point. Already math, I'm fine with simple math. It was that type of stuff that you just truly, but yeah, there is probably a bit to be had where it's I get held up or the aliens come down to, and I get one of the first few probe opportunities and they're just like, we won't put all our things in your sink that if you can tell us what negative B over 2A is.
And you're just God damn it. Can I take a community class real quick? Just 3 hours of refresher.
Yeah. Give me 3 hours, guys, and I'll be right back with a closed butt. I'm not a parakeet. Okay, so you go to the woods.
So, no, we didn't even get to the woods.
Gotcha.
So the plan was pick her up, get some snacks, all that stuff, and then go hang out. So we get to her house. She gets in my car. Fucking, we're jamming out to music. We're going to go to the Walgreens.
Awesome.
I'm excited.
It's a great night.
I'm playing a song. She's like, this is good music. I was like, she likes my music.
Oh, man.
I'm winning. And then, ding. And then I go, just a text message, probably a buddy or whatever, wishing me luck. Because, when you tell your 3 closest friends to, tell me everything.
Yes.
My one buddy's like, don't fuck it up.
For sure. Cool. You need that guy.
So then another text, and I was like, Jeremy and Marcus are usually together. I don't know why they're both texting me. And then just bing, bing. It just keeps going. And I stop real quick, and I look. And my dad's like, why did you leave the house? Where are you going? Why'd you stop at this house? And just started he's like, now you're on your way to Walgreens, you're here. And then he's like, get your ass home, you have 20 minutes. And I just go, how do you know this? He goes, check underneath your wheel. And there was a little tracker thing.
He told you?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have told you, but I guess.
But if I take it out, he knows that it alarms it because it's like underneath the wheel, there was like this plug that it energizes it. So if you take it out, he would get a thing that it got deactivated.
So you had to say what to the gal?
Yeah. I just go, we've been tracked. Like I was like, she's like, what?
Who are you?
Yeah, I go, I'm a dangerous man. I've killed. I killed Osama bin Laden.
And so then you had to drop her off, and that was that.
Yeah, drop her off, and
oh, dude,
I was like, we could do this in the later, and she's like, yeah, sure. It just never happened again.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Do you remember her name? Of course you do.
That was Brittany.
Where's she now?
I don't know.
The one that got away, or no? Was this
No,
just
it was just like, it was one of those things where it's like,
would have been a fun hang.
We got along in the class.
Cool.
And it wasn't like anything crazy, but it would have been cool.
Dude, how did you have a grudge towards dad for a while?
Oh, dude, me and my dad, it was fucking like my senior year of high school was like bad. Like I kind of ran away the summer before college for like 2 weeks. Where I just like, he's like, if you leave the house, I'm deactivating your phone. And so he deactivated it. I slept on a few couches when I was 18.
You just need a fucking break.
Yeah. Just kind of, and it wasn't good because like I was hanging out with guys, and like weed's not bad, but like these guys were like, weed was their life. So it was like, fucking, you wake up, you work your job at the pizza place, then you just fucking bong rips until 3 a.m. Then you wake up 4 hours later, go back to work, come back, bong rips, shotgunning beers, and that's fun for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, eating the pizza that you
cooked. Yeah. And then some of those guys are still doing that today, where it's just that's their cycle. So I'm glad like I got it out of the way.
And some of them have gotten to be like productive stoners to where they might even run the place.
Yeah. No, they're like,
no, dude.
Yeah, he's like, dude, I don't want to run the place.
They're all still wearing the same shirt with a different name tag just to try to fool the people from their past that come in and see them.
No, they don't even fool. The name tag doesn't change. It's the shirt because the pizza place has gone through like 3 different owners. I shit you not.
Who tried to put their own stamp on it, being like, we have pepper shirts now. You're like, dude, everyone knows it's fucking Bonici's Pizza. Yeah, what was the name of it?
It was Fox's in high school. Fox's Pizza.
That's a cool, almost the same way that girls have that eat, pray, love thing. That is kind of the guy dream for a little bit. Get fucked up, work at a chill job, make enough money, and hang with your buddies.
In the backyard, just drinking, listening to music, freestyling.
Was the pizza place, freestyling?
We had freestyle rap. I'm not going to do it. I'm awful.
Wasn't going to ask you to.
You kind of looked like it. You kind of were like,
hey, man, if you're a white guy and another white guy says he freestyle rap, in the past, of course I'm going to go, and go, do you still do it?
No.
The mic is yours. I mean, I love to, Rick Glassman and I loved, anytime I do his podcast, Take Your Shoes Off, we're always very high and we always freestyle rap. But it's so bad.
Yeah.
But then there's always a point where you try to do it well because... it's just like anything. I think creatively, especially if you are a creative person, it's jokey for a little bit, but you still want it's better. Just the same way, like comedy music is better if you sound good, right? If the music is actually good. So
and usually when you're high, you get one bar in that's kind of good. It's not great.
No.
It's not like Slim Shady. It's not like Nipsey Hussle.
No.
But you get a bar where it just flows right. The rhymes are great, and you're just like, yeah, if I dedicated myself, I could be the greatest of all time. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure, but you couldn't be.
No, I could not.
Well, just another beautiful Saturday morning being a 5-year-old fat kid. Gonna go downstairs and get some cereal. Wait a second. There's new cereal here. Bob?
Growing up, cereal was one of the best parts of being a kid, but I had to give it up because I realized it was full of sugar and fat and all the stuff that gives you boobies as a young adolescent male. Junk! The stuff you really shouldn't eat. Well, that's where Magic Spoon comes in. Heard of them? Yeah, it's a new cereal with 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving, and only 140 calories a serving. It's also keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and low-carb. It's basically a cereal that's good for you. There's also 4 flavors, which are cocoa, fruity, frosted, my favorite because I'm a Frosted Flakes bitch, and peanut butter. Guess what? It tastes exactly like cereal from your childhood, and I'm telling you this because I've had it, and I used to be a cereal junkie. Still love it, but you got to take it down a notch once you get into your 30s because you realize a little bit of Cinnamon Toast Crunch can clog your arteries and take away your ability to cum. So, Super nutritious, delicious, super healthy cereal that really brings the joy to your mornings.
Or afternoons.
That's right, Caleb. So go to magicspoon.com to grab a variety. magicspoon.com/about. That's a promo code to grab a variety pack and try it today. Use the promo code ABOUT at checkout to save $5 off your order. Magic Spoon is so confident in their product it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee, so if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. So get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/about. Use the promo code ABOUT to save $5 off. Thank you so much, Magic Spoon, because we want to keep eating cereal, but we just want it to what, Caleb?
Tastes good.
You got it, buddy.
Why are you in my house?
So, okay, so you're hanging in the back, you're freestyle rapping, you're living the dream, and then are you making your buddies laugh? Like, have you always been a jovial, funny kid?
So for like my friend circle, like, so I was the kid in school. I was never the class clown.
You weren't?
Yeah, I was like, so my friends, I was always the goofy kid. You know, we'd pull pranks on each other, do characters, like I said, short films, all that, like just wacky kind of stuff. And then I was the kid in the back of the class, like with non-friends. So it was like the cheerleader, right? She'd be sitting next to me and the teacher would be spouting some stuff. Like we had one guy named Mr. Paris, and he was just like ridiculous. He's just like this wild, unhappy guy. He would always like, if we failed a test, he's like, don't end up like my son. He went to prison. yeah. So I was like, maybe you should have hugged your son more. You know what I mean? Maybe.
By the way, I love a teacher that just has subtle like disappointment drops.
Yeah.
Like yeah, that answer was wrong. Like my son's choices from 92 to 97. You know, like just little subtle. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so you would like.
So he would be spouting off some ridiculous stuff. Then I would say a comment, make her laugh, you know. So it was like one of those things, or like him laugh, the football player, the good football player. So I wasn't like, people were like, oh, Tony's funny, but it was never like, oh, Tony's gonna make us laugh.
The back of the room kid treats class like an open mic because you got a few kids around you. And I think if you're more in the middle and you're doing it to the whole class, that's Carnegie Hall. So you were working your way up.
I was working,
I'm gonna and that's the way to do it, by the way.
Yeah.
Going full in right away to try to get the whole class on board is a bold move. And if you fall flat, even at that stage when you have no real like, you know, style or sensibility, you're trying to figure it out. Like, and there are kids that did it, I remember, but it was like, it was 50-50. They were always throwing darts. And it was like one day they'd call the teacher a bitch and everybody would laugh. Or other days they would like put a whoopee cushion under the teacher's chair. And, you know.
There was this kid named Dalton, and he was the Carnegie Hall kid. He would always do pranks, you know, get up. He would like yell at the teacher, you know, make the class laugh. He got in trouble so much that his mom literally had to spend the whole day with him. And his mom was like in her military outfit, like her get up BDUs, and had to go from class to class with him just to see how he behaves. Wow. And I was like, yeah, I don't want that.
No.
Like my dad, you know, coming to school with my dad and being like, yeah, Dad, lunch is now. I usually get the pizza and then we go play on the swing. So I was like, yeah, I don't want that. So I was just like, yeah, I'll just be the kid in the back. And the teacher's like, what are you guys talking about? I would be like, oh, nothing. I was just helping her out. And he's like, oh, okay. Because I look innocent.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll do that.
And what was that feeling like? Do you remember when you would make the cheerleader laugh?
Dude, it's the cool, like, especially when you make your friends laugh, it's great. But you think, oh, these are my friends. We have the same sense of humor.
Yeah.
You know, we're cheering each other up.
Yeah.
You know, we get each other. But when it's like someone you really haven't talked to, you really haven't hung out with, and you fucking like make them snort.
Yeah,
Or
I
like
know.
they spit up some water.
The coolest.
And you're just like, whoa. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
And then you're like, can I do it to someone else?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like this, you know.
A new audience.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird that is kind of what it turns into for us now, like getting excited to play a new room or, I mean, yeah, that feeling of making somebody you don't have as much familiarity with and get them to they're almost like a stranger to you.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, what a cool skill that I just like, and then you're like, wow, I wonder if there's kids in other classes that might find what I'm doing funny, or at recess, or like outside of school. Like maybe I'll be at a fucking weird camp and make a kid laugh. And then it's like, wow, I'm going on the road, you know? Like,
and I don't remember, but you would also bomb. There would be some kids that didn't find you funny. I don't remember this girl. It was a small Asian girl, and she was like straight A's, you know, she was class president, all this, right? And
she was a hater.
Yeah, and I remember on the bus, I tried to say something, and she turned around and she goes, yeah, we don't need to do this jokes thing. And I remember I was like, oh man, I was like bombing. That's like your first time on stage. You're like, oh, this is bad. This does not feel good.
Wow.
Like I went home and I was like, do I joke too much? I go, maybe life is more serious. You know, like that night I was just eating my like broccoli and I'm just like, maybe I should take life more serious, you know?
Yeah. And that girl was Aquafina. Yeah. And she was just, stealing your material. What if she did, whoever that girl was, turned out to be like a big comic and did like in her special some joke you did on the bus and like made the face you made. I was like, but don't. She was like, even did like a thing like, don't call me Tony, and they were like, what?
Don't call me Tony Casillas from fourth period. I'm like, that's me.
Oh man, yeah. That making kids on the bus laugh too was a very cool skill. You ever make the bus driver laugh, or were you always no?
The bus driver scary.
Yeah, scary.
She wasn't fun. She would talk politics to us.
What?
Yeah, she was a nice lady, but she like.
You guys have a good day at school. Remember to vote no on referendum 48.
Yeah, it was like that. So like 8th grade, I think Obama was running his first term. And it was one of those things, he gave a speech like 10 minutes away from where we were living in this auditorium, this big like auditorium place. And my dad wanted to go see him, so we went and saw him. And he gave this speech and it was like, you know, he's talking what was it? What was his first slogan?
We can change.
We can do it. I believe. I believe.
By the way, this is just. I mean, like one of the most influential elections.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Thank you.
I remember the.
You about to say "Si, senor"?
No, it was "Si se bueno."
Oh,
which yes, we can in Spanish.
Oh, great.
So I remember we're there and he's talking.
I thought it was "Si, senor."
Yeah, "Si, senor."
I think that's what Pepe Le Pew said, or Speedy Gonzalez.
That's how he got the Latin votes. So I remember we're going there, and
that was a big slogan.
He gave this great speech, and it was like the first political rally I went to. And I was like, I like this guy. He's like a politician talking about, you know, the young growing up hardship.
Totally.
And it was like,
I want to say too, he was one of the first people I remember. Maybe it's just where you are in your life and how you're relating to that stuff. But like public speaking wise, there was the first one I remember watching in a while where I was like, God damn, like I don't feel like I'm watching just a
politician.
Totally. I feel like I was seeing like a guy that was like, gave a fuck and was like, I don't know, there was just a lot in the pot of, and he just didn't seem, it's so, even as a kid, you can tell when people are up there and seem very, and like Clinton I thought was a great speaker, but he also felt very polished and point.
Yeah.
And Obama had a little bit of grit to him, right?
And you saw like people around you tearing up.
Yeah.
And it was like, this guy, you know, he's going to change lives.
Yeah.
And so I asked my dad, I was like, can I get a shirt? And I was like, sure, you can get a shirt. And so he buys me an Obama shirt, and I get on the bus, and she goes, Casillas. I go, what? And she goes, don't tell me you're falling for that BS. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. And then I was
the bus driver going hard in the paint.
Oh, dude, she was crazy.
Drawing a line.
Yeah, and then when he won, I couldn't even vote, but when he won, I got on the bus and left the bus, and I was like, Obama won.
You did?
And she goes, don't be a sore winner. And I was just like, well, you've been telling me
you,
for
bitch.
For 4 weeks.
You started this shit.
Yeah, you were like, McCain is the American hero. This guy's just a phony. And I was just like, what are you?
His last name ain't even Obama. It's Obama. You're like, what?
Maybe if you listen to Yes We Can, you wouldn't be a bus driver at 49. You know what I mean? And your husband would still be with you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you drop those dimes on her?
I would in my head.
No, in your head, yeah. As a kid, that's a lot, by the way. Walking off the bus, you're like, I still have to get on tomorrow morning. And take the same route.
She has my father's phone number. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't need that conversation.
He's got a tracking device on the bus already.
Yeah. Did you tell the bus driver she can blow her own cunt? You know?
He's got a verbal tracker. Blow her own cunt. Yeah. Jesus, Tony, I thought you better than that. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's funny that even that stuff at that age, like that's when you have those interactions with adults that aren't your folks.
Yeah.
And, you know, that election definitely inspired more young people, I think, than ever before.
Yeah.
So you're getting more kids in 8th grade that felt like they had a voice, which was great. And then also we're coming truly into the heart, I think, of social media at that point, where it's like, I mean, shit, dude, the bus driver, probably had a Facebook page that you could have gone on later and posted like a "Yes We Can" sticker with like a hashtag blow your cunt, below it. And, 40 people would have liked it. Then she would have commented. I mean, it's like, that's a crazy dynamic to have that I didn't have growing up, which is, I don't know, for better or for worse. You hear athletes all the time talking about how, thank God we didn't have social media.
Yeah.
How do you use it now for your comedy? Do you enjoy it? You're real active with like posting about your shows. And I think in a healthy way too, because we both know and we've both done it because everybody does when they're getting going. There's a part of you that posts stuff when you're getting going for the braggadocious purposes.
Yeah.
And for the like, I am proving to my, whether it's friends back home or comrades or just needing to, I was having a conversation with
It's like I'm doing it. It's like almost like
the validation.
And it's like, hey, it's okay. Don't worry about me. Because like with my dad was one thing. I remember I got a shout out on a podcast, and his boss called him, and he goes, "I think I heard your son's name, like an ex-boss of my dad's, on this podcast I listened to." And that's when he called me that night and he goes, "So this comedy thing's like working out."
Whoa.
Because he always knew it was like I was getting shows and I was working, but like...
He doesn't know what that means.
And the pay in comedy when you're starting out sucks.
As a parent, he probably, and I mean, he was just looking at it from a financial standpoint.
He's just like, I want you to be okay. And he's like, why are you driving like 19 hours to get paid $90? I'm like, well, because it's like, it could lead to more gigs. I'm meeting more comics. That's
he couldn't recognize the passion part of it and like seeing the grind that
he loved it. He's like, but he goes financially. He's like, you can't pay rent with grind.
Just worrying about his kid. He wants you to be okay.
And it was never like villainous. It was never like, I never felt, but he just doesn't, because he went from college to making a salary, health insurance.
The uncertainty wasn't as prominent in his life.
Exactly.
And that's a tough thing for people from that world to grasp. And it's one of the scary parts about our world where it's like, dude, I mean, fuck, dude. I mean, it's the highs and lows, it's why not everyone sticks with it or even tackles it.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember talking to you. I think I saw you in Arizona. That might be the last time I saw you, actually.
We saw each other quickly
with
once in Dallas.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but I remember in Arizona.
You had driven there to do a show from Dallas, and you hadn't yet moved to Austin, but you, with Big J Hollingsworth and a few other dudes, and you did a show at one of the other AZ clubs, and then popped over to say what up, and then you guys were like, we're driving back right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, man. And you're like, because we got a show tomorrow, I think, and I don't want to miss it. And I was like, God damn, dude. I was just like, that was just such a respectable move, and also like, fuck, like.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
I didn't have a show. You were just boring me.
That's at Tony Casillas on Twitter.
No.
I don't think he has an Instagram. He can blow his own cunt. We're not going to air this episode. And shout out to Peter's Parakeet Food.
Yeah, I was like, Adam keeps on talking about Peter's Parakeets. I was like, we get it, Adam.
Sucks.
You're making that parakeet money now, dude.
Get it, dude.
Some of us are still only making
That's so funny. By the way, we've all done that and how many times, just real quick to piggyback on that, have you used stand-up as a way to get out of a social thing that you don't want to go to?
All the time.
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah.
Because the people that do get it are like, oh yeah, all right, you got that shit. Once they get that you're into it early on, just to go back to it with posting about it to let people know that you're fine.
Yeah.
I remember my first 3 to 5 years even, and probably even more so, kids from college who saw me do it a few times at some frat parties would see me around at, kids' birthday parties and whatever, and they'd be like, oh, so how's the comedy thing going? And I'm like, it's fucking grinding, man. They're like, yeah, I haven't seen you on any shows or billboard, I haven't seen you on any specials or TV. And I'm just like, so you're doing it? I'm like, well, yeah, it's and then you have to explain to them like, it's like what you're doing, man, for being a lawyer. Like you had to go through school. You had to, they're like, yeah, but I got a job out of college. And you're like, fuck you. But also, no, for sure. But there's a lot more. This is not everyone, and so I'm just defending myself, and they're watching me like almost spiral by being like, it's not.
You're proving yourself. You're kind of like going like, no, but like last week I did 15 minutes.
Yeah, and I got to do 5 minutes in Santa Barbara. I didn't get paid, but I drove the headliner, and we got to talk, and he might take me on the road, probably not though. But we made a good contact. He actually deleted my number before he got out of my phone, or my car. But I love it.
Yeah, and he said my joke about Cheetos is really good.
It was really good.
Potential.
Yeah, but then I saw him on TV the next weekend, and he actually did my joke about Cheetos, so I feel like it's kind of paying homage to me. It's like it's like a highlight of my career. I now go on stage as the guy who got his joke about Cheetos stolen.
I think I should send him an invoice, but that might be a little too extreme because maybe he lost my number and he'll find it.
Yeah, but I do need the money. I actually have been sucking wieners outside the Panera for $4 a head.
Yeah, I've been sucking my old bus driver's cunt just so I can make some rent
Can
money.
I borrow 50 grand? You want to start a business?
But dude, social media is one of those things. It's like you say, it's you want to post about shows just to show people, like, because it helps you get booked in other places.
Well, there's out of sight, out of mind, and there's you know, selling the sizzle, not the steak. You know, where it's like people do pay attention to the stuff they see, and it's like, oh, look at, like, I mean, you know, and that matters. But also, I think what younger comics don't realize, I was talking to one about this last night, is that, you know, people recognize, though, when it's like, you know, even the last 2 years have just been grinding and getting on better shows and making more contacts and getting cooler gigs and taking, really just being all in to where you can, you know, go to Zany's in Nashville last night and then get back here and get right back to it. And then there's people that are not doing that type of shit and don't even have the time to be doing that and haven't delivered on stage to where people take you with them to Nashville, yet they're still posting like that's happening. And it's like, man, there's like, take your time, like enjoy the process of getting better is what I always say. But also people can tell when if you're posting about, like, as if you're everywhere and you're crushing it, people know, like, well, I know you're just, it's just, you're posting for the image of like, wow, look what's happening. And it's
the
like,
weirdest is when they post a calendar, they put dates on it, and then you look at one and you're like, that's an open mic. I've seen that before. I was like,
wow.
I'm like, dude, like, I was like, my calendar, there's some months where my calendar's full. There's some months where it's like, I only have 4 shows this month, and then it's a lot of open mics, but you post those 4 shows, you do those 4 shows.
And it's like also a tour date schedule when you're a couple years in. Like, who the fuck do you think is coming to see you?
They name a tour, and I'm like I'm a feature act. It's like, I had a comic ask me, I won't mention his name, good guy, but he goes, hey man, you should take me on the road with you. And I go, no, these guys are taking me. I can't be like, hey man, Adam, I appreciate you taking me to these dates. But can my buddy Steven come along? I know you've never seen him.
He's got a Cheeto bit.
Yeah, he's got a Cheeto bit that you'd love.
It's different than yours.
So it's like, that shit is kind of crazy, where it's like, it's also, I think people with social media, it's one of those things, you don't post the negative sides. You know what I mean?
No, everyone's posting the best version of their lives. And I feel like I don't know, who do you think's truly, I think Will Smith. Guess what? What you see is what you get.
You're Will Smith.
You're what, dude? I mean,
you have like one bad Tuesday every year. You have a bad, he has a bad Tuesday
for an hour.
Yeah.
And it's his wife being like, I was in an entanglement, and that's it.
Yeah. And then he goes, well, I was in floors.
Yeah,
so, can't be too mad.
Dude. Men in Black 2 was a wild summer. Not wilder than Wild Wild West, but it was pretty wild.
I fucked the spider. I had sex with a robotic spider.
Oh man, I fucked 6 of the robots in iRobot while they were in their suits. There was no hole. I punctured one through the suit. Nice, just got real quiet. I don't hate on that, and I don't judge because I feel for it, and I do go out of my way sometimes. I don't know how you are with that too, because I'm sure you're at a point where you get people asking you, they want a fast track. They go, man, Tony, look at you in a couple years, man, getting you're stacking the chips, and you're like, yeah, I've been fucking grinding. And it's like, what's the secret? And what do you say to those people? I
just tell them, like, work your ass off. Treat it like a day job, even though you're not making money. Where it's like, that's how I looked at it. Like, I looked at comedy like an internship, where I'm doing those road gigs where I'm driving 15, 16 hours to make $80. I was like, I'm going to come back negative $150, but I'm putting myself in a situation to make a group of people laugh. So in the future, if I go to the market next to them, those people are going to come pay to see me if they like me. And it's like building a brand. It's like building you. Or I didn't want to bomb a lot in my hometown. Because my thing is, like, if I bomb 7 hours away, who gives a shit what the people in Abilene, Texas think of me?
Yeah.
So I'd go there, try out my new 15, only 4 minutes of it works. And then I'll come back to Dallas, do that 4, and they're like, Tony's new 4 is sick.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, oh, fucking 15 fucking sucks.
Yeah.
So it was like, I would use the road kind of like these gigs to just test shit out and fucking, learn, try to find my voice on stage, try to like work on crowd work. Because when you're at your home club and you're trying to impress the manager or the booker, you're just doing your A shit all the time just to get some work.
Yes.
So it was like I was in this weird hole where I was just doing the same 5 to 7 over and over and over. And then I was like, let's just get out there and just let's fail a little bit. So I used the road to like fail and to get better. So
where did you get you had to have some cash, right, to like find these gigs, or would you just band together with other comics and go?
Yeah, it was one of those. So I worked, I got a film degree in college. And I did a lot of freelance photography work.
Yep.
So I would just work my ass off for 3 months, do some contracts, build like $4,000. And then for a month and a half, I'll just do comedy and just like blow it all, on and then go back into work, fucking do like 3 or 4 shoots and then fucking hit the road.
And so when you would say blow it all, like you would find a lot of like smaller shows in cities that had shows and just needed comics? Or?
Yeah, like Oklahoma, they would be like, hey, come to this bar. We'll pay you $20 to do this bar. So it's like 5 hours to drive there, get a hotel. So me and a few comics would just do that and just plan like little routes.
Yeah.
Then come back home
and fun, right?
Oh, it's the best.
I mean, that's the thing too. It's like you have to be so in love with that part of it.
Yeah.
And early on if you are. It's like if you're in that car and you're like, man, we're gonna make dick, but this is gonna be like a fun experience. Like, I mean, dude, I remember going with Jeff Dye. He was headlining some bar in Spokane, Washington, and I was maybe 2, maybe 3 years in.
Yeah.
And hadn't even like featured yet. Didn't have 20 minutes by any means, and was doing 20, maybe 25, and Jeff was kind of a hot deal in Seattle, but hadn't got on TV yet or whatnot, but had a college agent maybe. And but it was 5 hours from Seattle. So I went with them and we drove out there and it was so fun just to go, again, like you said, do comedy outside of, I'd only done about 10 open mics in Seattle at that point, and then was in LA and then back to Seattle. So, we get out there and this bar was just so not conducive for stand-up.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I was like judging Jeff. I was like, you took this gig and they told me they gave him like $500, and I was like, fuck. All right. Well, I get why you did it. And I get up there and they didn't turn any of the TVs off.
Oh yeah.
It was so loud. And when I say it was so loud, you're like, oh, there was like room chatter. It was picture Buffalo Wild Wings on Super Bowl Sunday. While there's also like a 69 festival sponsored by Pornhub on the back patio.
Yeah.
And all the doors are open.
Yeah, everybody's just coming in.
It's just fucking madness, chaos, all the sounds and noises you don't want to be competing with. And the TVs. And I remember like...
And then you're up there just like cheese fries, you
dude,
know?
I remember doing a Super Mario Brothers bit where I was doing like a... And I was like screaming it. And I was like in my head just thinking about how good the cry was going to be when I got home.
Yeah.
Because I was so like... But then there was a couple moments where I remember... And it's the first time in that gig, and this is why I just bring it up, that I remember like firing back at people in the crowd and the 10 people that were maybe listening, that were like seated in the crowd. I remember talking to them and then talking about what was happening to them. And then I remember getting a few people in the back to stop and look. And then I was yelling at one, and then one started. So then he and I started engaging, and then I started making fun of what he was wearing. And then that got a few people to stop.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, whoa, you got to control the fucking room, man. And so there were bar gigs after that where it was a little less chaotic. So I just had but I grew in that moment.
You train. It's like a training. It's like
dude, it's fight or
day.
fucking flight, where you're like, am I gonna get something out of this, or am I truly gonna just have this whole experience be a wash and go, well, at least I tried that fucking one thing that nobody heard because the fucking 69 festival was so abrasive. Yeah, man, you don't. Nobody teaches you that either.
No.
It's only a by doing skill set, right?
But then it makes you great too, because then when you're in a club setting, of course, like people are listening to you because they came for comedy, but you get the dick table where they're just coming to get fucked up. You know, they got some free tickets, they're coming to get fucked up. And you're like, oh, I fucking destroyed these people at a bar that didn't want to listen to me. Now I have 100 people on my side this is cake.
Yeah.
So it's like you learn like tools, you learn lessons, you learn, and I also it's weird. I'm getting to the point where it's like now I'm traveling alone a lot, and it's like I miss.
To do like one-nighters by yourself?
No,
or?
one-nighters.
Or to go
like,
to feature for
or
people.
You feature, you know.
But
and
you don't, you can get yourself there and be comfy, yeah?
Yeah, but it's like, I miss the days where you go with your 3 or 4 buds.
Yeah.
Because now it's like, those were the fun days. Because like I remember one gig me and my buddy Sal did. It was this shitty bar in Oklahoma. And we get there and there's like only 9 people, you know. They didn't want comedy. It's like bombarded on them, right? They weren't excited. And my buddy Sal goes on stage. And then I go, that joke sounds very familiar to mine. And then he goes, another joke. I go, that sounds kind of like a version of one of my jokes. And I go, hey, Sal, are you doing my material? He goes, shut the fuck up. So he does my entire act, chopped up, missing punchlines, you know. I start dying. He gets off stage. I'm like, what the fuck, Sal? He goes, now do mine. And he's this big Italian guy, so I have to go up there and just like, yeah, my girlfriend loved cheese and do this like big Italian cheese act.
Oh my God.
And we were missing punchlines, and the audience is just like looking. And the owner, we both bombed, but I'm just trying to make Sal laugh.
Yeah, man.
And then afterwards, the owner comes up to us. He goes, it seems like y'all's comedy is just for like you two. And I was like, yeah, man.
Great feedback.
Yeah. He goes, all right, here's your $20. Yeah. You did your job. But he goes,
yeah, man, that type of shit's so fun. And like, you get to a point to where you're obviously not going to be swapping acts for a full house that's paid.
Yeah, you wouldn't do that. But it's like those gigs where it's like, hey, we have another gig tomorrow that's probably going to be better.
Yeah.
That's for one night.
Break the monotony of what we're doing.
Let's just have fun. And then we got home, we got to the hotel, you know, we're high. We're just joking around, calling our buddies, telling the story.
Funny.
You know?
Yeah,
it's just
man.
like one of those moments you'll always remember.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Do you have stuff right now that you're really pumped to, like, do you feel like your writing has changed in the last year or so? And how do you feel that it has? Did the pandemic, what did that do to you creatively?
So the pandemic was bad for me. Like, it was one of these weird things where it was like I was getting in a groove. Like, I was literally about to move to Los Angeles. Me and my roommate found a place in LA. We're about to sign a lease, and then boom, pandemic hit May. We're gonna leave June. So we got out of the lease. Thank God.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So you had gotten to a point in Dallas where you were like, I'm moving and shaking. I like where I'm at. How many years in?
I was 4 years.
And so you're like, let's go.
It's like I've worked with, it was one of those things where it's like I've worked with a lot of cool people.
Yeah.
And it's like.
And kept up the relationships, yeah?
And kept up the relationships.
Like, how many people like me have you kept up with that
I'd say
are.
like you, Jeremiah.
Yeah.
You know, Tony Hinchcliffe.
People that are in the scene and that are like doing things, and that you're like, oh, cool. I'm going to go to LA.
Yeah.
Not feeling completely out of my
And
element.
it was like with some people, it was like not even buddy, but every time they were in town, they're like, hey, come work with me. So it's like, where it's like we're not maybe talking every day, but it was like, oh, they like to hang when they're in town. I was
That's
like,
big time.
And it was just one of those things where it's like, I saw some guys around me that were really funny, but they stayed 13, 14 years. They, you know, they're doing the same like 25, 30, and they're like, I'm waiting for the industry to call me. And I was like, I don't think it ever calls you. I think you gotta go earn it, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, I didn't want to get stuck in that monotony, just same sets, you know, same 5, 6 clubs. I wanted to break out and give it a shot.
Yeah.
Because worst case, I can always move back.
I think it does call you at some point, but you got to at least be where it is. You
Yeah.
got to be near the phone.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And
so I was like, I want to go out there and just give it a shot.
Yeah.
So I saved up a lot of money, and then pandemic hit. So they were like, oh, it's only 3 months. So I was like, okay. And they just kept on dragging, and I started doing like a lot of drugs, like coke, which I'm not proud of, but like it was just one of those things where it was like,
yeah, because everything was in a fucking standstill, dude.
Yeah, and your buddy's just like, hey, let's just do blow today. I was like, well
there's no agenda.
Nothing left for the next 3 weeks. So you would do it, and then you realize coke is I get why people get addicted to it, because it's a lot of fun.
I know some guy last night at the show, I go, I told him, I was like, I still have never done it. And I go, what's the pitch? If like you are pitching, if you're like, hi Sharks, tired of walking into 7-Eleven without enough pizzazz.
Yeah.
And then I go, what is and he goes, dude, it makes what did he say? Fuck, I gotta remember this. It was like, it makes the party, every moment, you're on top of the world for 5 minutes, or you're the coolest guy in the room for 5 minutes, or you feel like you are?
You're just on. Everything is dope. Just you do a line and you're just like, whoa, you're like fucking Steely Dan is actually pretty good, you know?
By the way, I love that because I said last night too, I go, coke guys are always going like that and going like, dude, look at the fucking sky.
Yeah,
man.
you always,
Yeah.
you kind of like do like a little shit and you're just like feeling good. But then it gets really sad because like the first night I'm doing it with some buddies, you know, we're doing it. And then I was like, the next day, the hangover is the worst. Coke is the worst hangover. So you're like, you know what would cure this? More cocaine. Oof. So then you buy another 8-ball, and that lasts you 3 days. And then you buy another one, and it only lasts you 2 days. And it was after the third or fourth one, I was like, I finished it, and I was about to text my guy, like, hey, can I get, I'm getting unemployment money, like, which is not a good move. I realize it's a dick move. There's people like hungry, and I'm just like fucking doing lines, you know, like not great. It's not cool.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I literally sat in my room, and I was like, we can either get another bag and you become this, or we just realized it was a thing. We tried it, and we saw the negatives, and we saw the positives, and it was a science experiment, and we can get out. And I was like, good, we're gonna.
Wow.
So yeah. So I was doing like drugs, and then every day just smoking weed, just bong rip, and I gained weight because I'm just eating, you know. You just feel like shit. And
Yeah, it was a sad time, man. And there was no like light at the end of the tunnel for quite a bit. And that, yeah, man, that was.
And you know, comics were a lot of them are, the comedy's what saves us.
Yes.
Because
not only the stage and the performing element, but the having like some structure like that, where it's like, and knowing that you get to be around people. I mean, I remember I was just at the Comedy Store maybe a month and a half ago, and I see Brian Simpson, hilarious comic, and
he's great.
Yeah, so funny. And I walked up to him and I said, "What up, Brian?" And he was hanging with a group of people. He goes, "Man, you're always so goddamn happy."
Yeah.
And I was like. And he's like, fuck. He's like, I hate it, but I love it. Like every time I see you, just got fucking smile. You're always like, in a good mood. And I go, well, I've full, transparency, bro. Like today was a fucking bad day.
Yeah.
I was like, I was fucking truly bumming. I can go down the list of things that I allowed to bum me out and that just straight up bum me out from life. I go, but dude. Look where I am at right now. I'm at the best club in the world. I'm around some of the funniest people. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I walked up to a circle with you and these other people. Like, so yeah, like I choose to not be bummed when I come here. Moment, yeah. But also, that's what I love about comedy is that like when I know I'm going there, it's like even if before I step out of the car in the Comedy Store parking lot, if I'm still feeling heavy, I just take a beat and I'm like, don't bring that in there.
Yeah.
And even if you get out and you're feeling a little like, and you just want to walk straight to the showroom, dude, then you're on stage and then you get off and you get a pick me up. So,
or even if you like have a comedy friend and you tell them what you're going through, they listen and they're like, man, it's going to get better. But then they bust your balls.
Or they say, who gives a fuck? And it's something to where you're like, oh, like you needed that second set of eyes to.
Yeah, like I remember like I got a call at an open mic once, like 2.5 years ago. Like my dad just had a heart attack. Like my sister had to take him to the hospital.
Oh shit.
And like I'm just sitting there. I'm just like, what the fuck? They're like, yeah, he's with the doctor now. We don't know what's going on. And he's like out, you know. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, fuck. I'm 5 hours away. I don't know what's going on. My buddy Micah just goes, man, look on the bright side. He goes, at least he's not going to see you be a failed comedian. And it was just like I just start crying laughing. Because it was just like this moment, because we'd gone through, like, his ex-wife that he was still close with passed away. And, like, we had a similar interaction where when that happened, like, we comforted each other, but it was, like, ball busting.
Wow.
So it was this, like, cool moment. We used humor to just lift each other up. And like, not being around that. Like, it's the darkest time that society's going around. And you really didn't have that camaraderie.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you could talk on the phone, but it wasn't like being with your, with your boys and your girls and fucking just shooting the shit.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so then you pick yourself up.
Yeah.
Things.
Fucking Texas beat COVID 3 weeks in.
And then you were like, fuck it, I'm going to Austin.
I said, yeah, a few months ago, I was just like, some of the LA guys started moving here, and I started just coming down here, checking it out. And I was like, I met like some of the Comedy Store people, like Asan, fucking Derek Poston, and guys like that, where it's like watching them and having to follow them. I was like, I need to be here because they're so good where it's like I would go up there and just do my same 15 that I know works on the weekend and it crushes. And then Hassan's like, oh yeah, that bit's fucking 2 weeks old. And I'm like, that bit's 2 weeks old? And then it literally made me have to go home and be like, I want a bit that's 2 weeks old that crushes like that. You're just writing, and you're just testing. And like, that's why I love being here. It kind of has just brought up, like, it's not competitive. We're always helping each other out, but it's like.
You found a good group that's supportive in that way.
And it's supportive, but it's like you watch him and you're like, holy shit. Like, he's such a great writer and performer. He's like, he makes me want to be better.
Yeah.
Where it's like.
It's good to have that. You got to have people around you that and I was just saying this to somebody last night about what I still really love about LA is, and they were like, oh, haven't you moved here? And I was like, well, still acting is like at the forefront, and so got to be there. But I planted so many seeds in LA that are still, paying dividends, and that I don't want to just bail on.
Yeah.
And I get off on the energy of LA, like truly, like being around still a lot of fucking amazing people, and being on shows with people where you're like, man, like fucking that Santino's got that new bit, Jeselnik, or you see like fucking Whitney talking about this, and you're like, God, I just saw her talk about that on our podcast. Now she took it there, and that stuff pushes you and inspires you too. And you gotta, wherever you're getting that, you gotta get that. And if you're an idiot if you're not like feeding off that, and using that as fuel to push yourself instead of being intimidated by like, fuck, like look at that. It's like, all right, well, fucking. Exactly like you said, like we'll go home and like
we're gonna figure something.
Yeah.
We'll write a good bit.
And look at Derek now. I mean, got picked up to go on Schultz's tour from just putting his head down and fucking and crushing it and being a good dude.
Yeah.
And being funny and not talking shit. Like these are the things too that I think people fail to recognize sometimes when you're getting going, because you can get caught up in all the extracurricular bullshit that comes with any job, right? Where you're like, you want this and that person did and whatever, and it's like, dude, just fucking nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah.
I was telling a buddy recently who was posting something to kind of just air out his dirty laundry, and he never really does it. And he was like, this thing happened and it pissed me off, and he posted like, some screenshots of it. And I was like, dude, I was like, delete that, and also nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I give a fuck for you, is what I'm telling you, but like, you just, like.
The drama it's all secondary.
Yeah.
The drama is all secondary.
No one's going to root for, unless it's, I don't know. There's stuff out there, obviously, like in certain cases where it's like, humane things where it's like, if like, I don't know, there's probably a great improv stuff, but there is something to be said about finding a spot like Austin, like you have, and really using it to your advantage.
Also, and I think, and I get like what guys like in your level don't want to move it. Like you said, you're established, like you're a regular at the greatest club in the world, the Comedy Store,
Yeah, if I didn't have also that part of it.
Yeah, and it's like you get regular spots,
Right.
you get, you're there, you're around, like your core guys that you've grown up and started with.
Right.
Which it wouldn't make sense like you to come here and then, so it's like, I get that, but it's cool for like guys at this level where we're growing the
1000%.
Or, cause it's like, we can grow this little fan base here.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's weird moving here where I'll be at the bar and the guy will be like, dude, I saw you at that show at the Sunset Strip, man. Fucking funny stuff.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh shit.
Well, there's a lot of comedy fans that are coming out of the woodworks because there's more opportunities here now too, right?
Exactly.
And then
And
you're
it's-
getting to bounce around to all these neighboring cities, right? Like you're popping to San Antonio, Dallas, like in a weekend, and then coming back here. So like that's.
And then you meet cool people like Eleanor. I got to meet for the first time this
the
weekend.
greatest.
She's the greatest.
Yeah.
And we're just like shooting the shit up there. And then I had to go in and follow Holtzman. And I'm sitting there, I'm just like, fucking Holtzman. Because, he just like burns the place down.
Oh, yeah.
And he just like fucking yells at people. He like loses them, then wins them back over.
Yeah.
It's so great to watch. But you're like, I got to follow this with my
Great.
new cheese fries joke. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's a great challenge though, right?
And Eleanor comes up to me and she goes, hey, it's not that bad. And then I go up there and it was bad. And then she goes, how was it? And I go, Eleanor, it was pretty bad. And she
Yeah.
goes, I just didn't want to worry you. But it's like those cool moments
Great,
where
though.
I wouldn't have, it makes you better. Where
Yes.
it's like, next time when I have to follow Holtzman, I'm going to come in fucking sweat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because you did it once also.
Yeah.
And it's like you have to at some point be in a position to have those opportunities to do that and
Yeah.
and follow somebody that you're like, it's good that you were scared and that you were like, fuck.
Yeah.
Because now then you do it and you get through it and you go, oh, all right.
I'm not going to die from it.
No.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I missed, I went home and I cried, masturbate, used my tears to jerk off. But like, I'm not.
Who hasn't done that?
Hey guys, Adam Ray here for the About Last Night podcast. Hope you're enjoying this episode. Obviously, it's a very difficult time for everyone right now. We're all challenged in finding a day-to-day routine that makes our lives consistent and awesome. And if there's something that's interfering with your happiness right now or preventing you from achieving your goals, BetterHelp Online Counseling is there for you. BetterHelp is a professional counseling service, online, private, and it's so convenient. I've used it for a little bit now. It's truly the only way that I've found to help get my own issues dealt with on my own time at my own pace. You can schedule secure video or phone sessions, plus chat and text with your licensed professional counselor right now. They're specialized in depression, anger, stress, anxiety, family conflicts, LGBT matters, grief or relationships, sleeping, which I have a lot of trouble with, trauma, self-esteem. Anything that you share with them is confidential. And guess what? If you're not happy with your counselor for any reason, at any time, you can request a new one for no additional charge. There's 3,000 U.S. licensed therapists across all 50 states, available worldwide. And again, there's 4 ways to communicate with them: text, chat, phone, and video. You can start communicating in under 24 hours. It's available on any desktop, mobile web, Android, and iOS apps. Schedule a video or phone session, generally weekly, unless your therapist schedules more. Unless you just are really not sleeping and need to get some additional chats in. There's broad expertise in the network, which may not be locally available in many areas. Financial aid is available for those who qualify. It's secure, it's convenient, it's professional, and above all, it's affordable. All right, it's truly the most affordable option I found. So right now, all ALN listeners are going to get 10% off your first month with a discount code About Last Night. So why not get started today and start making some changes for the better in your life? You deserve it. So go to BetterHelp.com/AboutLastNight. Simply fill out a questionnaire to help them assess your needs and get matched with a counselor that you'll love. That's BetterHelp.com/AboutLastNight. BetterHelp.com/AboutLastNight and get 10% off your first month with promo code About Last Night. And now back to the episode.
And it's cool to meet just like young LA comics, young New York, a lot of Nashville comics, where it's like I'm meeting these group of people from different areas, and we're coming together, and it's like we're building like this our own little like class. It's like our group and our class of people. So that's really cool.
Do you have like fun group texts or like group dinners or things like that? Or you just kind of see everybody at shows? And
just shows, and like we have a couple of us that we play Mario Kart and Super Smash Brothers.
Cool.
Like like my buddy Sean had to buy me and my buddy Jeff a steak dinner because he lost a $300 steak dinner because he got greedy. And he thought he could beat us in some Mario Kart.
You guys were betting $300 steak dinners?
It started off with the loser of the Grand Prix. The winner gets to pick one joke from the loser's act that he can't tell for 6 months, unless it's like a big show.
Wow.
And so he's like, yeah, let's do it. So he loses that. So then the second bet was, okay, it's 3 jokes, and you have to open every set with, where are my single ladies at in this bitch? And then he loses again.
Oh, God.
And then it was just like, okay, we can keep those stipulations, or we're going to go to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and you buy us a steak dinner. And he's like,
I'll gladly take that.
He's like,
Isn't that
let's do the
so
steak
funny
dinner. Yeah.
to have to open your set with where my single ladies at in this biatch?
And he's a skinny guy. You know, he's like,
well, all right. See, that he probably could have pulled it off.
No, skinny, nerdy guy. His act is nothing like that.
Nothing like that? Oh, okay, so he would have done that. And then completely transitioned into a different cadence.
Yeah,
and
gone
tone.
like John F. Kennedy's strange, you know?
People are like, who the fuck is this guy? Yeah.
So just shit like that. It's just we're just like it's a blast here. It's like we're the comics here. They're taking it serious. They're working hard, but then also we're having a good time and just playing hard too.
I love that, dude. Well, you think you might still get to LA at some point?
I want to. It's one of those things where it's like we're gonna see when Austin happens because it's still young. I still think that's one thing. It's like
totally.
It's a very young scene, and people just I don't know what it's gonna look like in a year. Anything could happen. But if like in a year an opportunity comes up and someone's like, hey, fucking, someone take me on the road or whatever, I'm doing a little bit more acting, and they're like, "Hey, come audition for this thing."
You want to, yeah? Is that in the...
It's fun. I like bit parts.
Cool.
Like I like being the guy in like a movie, kind of like Brian Callen in The Hangover.
Yeah.
Where he's the guy that works at the church. He comes in, gets a big laugh, and then you're out for the movie.
See, I see even more for you like Seth Rogen in 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Oh, yeah?
I see you as like that kind of a supporting part where you like, you know, kind of are the comedic relief.
Yeah.
But have, you know, some really, you know, you're in, you know, 10 to 15 scenes and kind of more of a part. But that is also a great way. You know, Seth didn't just, I mean, he was obviously on a hit show for a little bit, but that route of being the bit part guy and then building up like Callen did is also a great way to do it.
So it's just one of those things where it's like, I like doing it, especially if it's a good project. Because I remember I got an acting agent in Dallas, and I was like, I can't work with this lady. I had to let her go.
Why?
It was this weird thing where she was like, okay, to start off, we're going to do these reality shows, right? Like these online, they get like 60 million views, but it's like cheaters, or it's like, oh, you're going to play this guy whose wife is fucking your brother.
Yeah, because Cheaters is fake, right?
It's all fake. It's all bullshit.
So you were going to be one of the...
Yeah, my wife, so literally, I was fucking an ex-military guy's wife, like this guy who was overseas, his wife. So I show up to the shoot day, right?
Wait, you booked it?
Yeah, they booked me.
By the way, I love how you
I'm
just...
the guy.
I love how you scoffed me off. You're like, yeah, dude, it was fucking...
Come on, Adam,
yeah.
look at me. I get pussy whenever I want. Look at this, you know?
People believe that I fucked the military guys.
Also, I love that they picked me. Like, this guy is a hero. This guy is, you know, serving our country. And she's like, you know what? I want to fuck the busboy at Chili's. So I go, and I get there, and they're like, I was like, what's my character's name? And they're like, oh, we're just going to go Johnny Casillas. And I was like, you know, I was like, yeah, can we not? And they're like, no, we'll just use your name. I go, yeah, but the thing is, like, I do stand up. And that's my brand. Like, I don't really care about this show. Like, this is just a $200 paycheck.
Tony Casillas is my stage name.
This is
like that I'm willing to just throw away on an episode of Cheaters.
I've been called that my whole life, you know. And I don't want fucking people coming up to me after shows and being like, "Are you the guy that betrayed our military?" You're fucking over. You're the Taliban over here. Yeah. So I literally go, yeah, I'm good. And they're like, yeah. So my agent calls me. She's like, did you just leave? And I was like, yeah. She goes, this is unprofessional. I was like, why can't I just go by like Brian McFallon or something? I could pick
John Smith
anything.
Or Cheater McGee. Like anything is better than your real name. Also, Cheaters. You don't have alternate names waiting in the. You don't have writers on set being like, call him titty fuck Captain Klitmeister. You know.
So yeah, I was like, I'm good. And then she's like, and it was one of those agents where it's like you pay us $100 and then I never sent her a check.
It was a pay to play.
Where it's like starting out
agency?
To get headshots. Like, I have headshots. Like, I worked for a professional photography studio. She's like, they're good. They're not that good. And I texted my boss, and he goes,
they won't get you a job on Cheaters.
Yeah, they won't get you the Cheaters job. This is more like a local Ford dealership, you know?
Yeah, if you want to do car dealership ads, stick with those bullshit pics.
My boss is like, I use the same like lighting and camera for a fucking Nike's ad. Like, they're legit headshot.
Wow.
Like, he works on like big profile. He goes, yeah, she's just fucking trying to screw you out of some money. And I was like, so I just told her, yeah, I'm good. And
we're done. You fired her.
And then she's like, I have connections in the business. And so I was like, all right. I was like, all right. And she was like, I
know Michael Keaton's granddaughter.
Oh, yeah. She was like, I was going to pitch you for this role, and you would have worked with, what's his name?
She did
Julia Roberts' brother.
Lyle Lovett. No, that's who she fucked.
He played
Eric Roberts.
Eric Roberts. She's like, I was going to pitch this role, and you would have had a scene with Eric Roberts. And I was like, I worked as a PA on a movie with Eric Roberts. It's fine. I'm cool to pass. The guy reads off of note cards, doesn't remember the script. It's going to be all right.
This is the fucking best story I've heard in a long time.
So,
oh my God, I'm good. I got my fill on ER, baby. All right, the show and the guy.
Yeah, Eric Roberts.
I'm fine.
Yeah,
Eric
The
Roberts.
Dark Knight's great. Not the best character. I don't feel like it wasn't. It
by the way,
wasn't like,
she has. Well, go ahead.
The Oscar wasn't between Heath Ledger and then Eric Roberts.
You know how many of those she has in her back pocket, by the way, to other clients where she's like, oh, fine, quit on me.
Yeah.
I was going to pitch you for a role. You had a scene with Sally Fields' nephew,
Yeah.
Robert Fields. No relation to the cookie. You're like, all right.
All right.
Yeah.
So it was just like, I was
I'm
like,
gonna miss out.
I was like, you're threatening me because of a $12 commission check? Because if I'm getting paid,
Because I wanted to ruin my namesake.
also, I don't want to I don't want to improv me being like, yeah, I'm fucking your wife, dude. Like,
By the way, that's the only part of the story that makes me sad is that there's no footage of this to cut to right now, or that you didn't get to, like, for sure, because the cameras run up in Cheaters, and they would have come up to you in the car with the girl, and the boyfriend would be like, the fuck, Kathleen? Actually, let's play it out. Ready? Here we go.
Okay, all right.
So I'm the guy. So you're in the car with the girl, right?
yeah.
And I come up. Okay, she's over here. She's over here. Kathleen, open. Actually, you know what? Dude, fucking open the door. Who the fuck are you?
First off, calm down, sir.
Fuck, calm down.
Hey, thank you for your freedom. But I just want to say, maybe if you weren't in war trying to fuck that shit up, you would have time to fuck your wife's pussy up. All right, man. That's why I'm here.
All right, that was funny, but fucking, you know what, dude? That is fucking.
See, I can't play that role. I would hug the guy. I go, this is a mistake. I didn't know she was with you. I didn't know I've been cheated on. It's the worst fucking thing ever.
By the way, you're so convincing and like emotional that you get a spinoff where it's like you going around trying to like get couples back together that have broken up on Cheaters.
Yeah,
but are all actors.
I've been on Cheaters and I feel like a real piece of shit. And then I spoke to God and now I'm solving the problem. It's called Band-Aids.
Oh my God. Oh. Well, all right. We got to wrap this up. Tony, you're a fucking gangster and a homie.
Dude, thanks for having me on. This was awesome.
So fun. We're going to close this out with a 10-question Inside the Actor Studio questionnaire. R.I.P. the late, great James Lipton. You no doubt would have been on the show at one point. So let's close it out, getting to know Tony a little better with James's Rapid Fire 10. Here we go. Tony, what is your favorite word?
Hoot.
Nice.
Yeah.
Use it in a sentence.
Like last night, me and my friends went to a club and it was a real hoot.
Is that a Midwest thing? Is that a?
It kind of is.
My mom is from Oklahoma. She says that.
I just like hoot and holler. It's kind of like, it's silly. I'm not a country guy, but you hear it. You hear some country boys go like,
if someone has a hoot, you're jealous.
Yeah, you're like, I want a hoot.
Where was that hoot last night?
Yeah. You know, it's like fucking.
That's a great answer. What is your least favorite word?
Asparagus.
Yeah.
Just sounds dangerous.
Yeah, great name for a detective.
Detective Asparagus.
What turns you on? It could be life-wise or sexual.
Sense of humor.
Love that. What turns you off, Tony?
Arrogance.
What is your favorite curse word?
Fuck stick.
Nice.
Yeah.
We get a lot of fucks, but
Fuck stick.
there's a lot of variations of fuck and a lot of things that are
Or fuck stick or bitch titties.
Bitch titties.
Me and my friends would call each other, shut up, bitch titties. yeah, bitch titties was a good
Also a
one.
great detective name.
Detective bitch titties. Coming to ABC Family this fall.
Yeah, right after an all-new Band-Aids. What sound or noise do you love?
Sound and noise.
Sound or noise do you love?
Sound and noise. Honestly, I'm living kind of like out in the country now. I love at the night just hearing the crickets, or what is it? Those, it's like those.
Giorgio, what's the...
cicadas? The cicadas.
Are you sure not thinking of John Cicada?
Yeah, I love John Cicada. When John Cicada is sipping a nice, good old tea, fucking I'm ready to go.
Just hearing a cicada take a sip, a good cicada sip of Lipton?
Yeah.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Chalkboard. Like what the screeching,
Yeah.
like, yeah, I can't.
It's a popular answer, and that is awful. What profession, other than your own, would you like to attempt?
I would love to maybe one day teach.
What grade?
I would love to do maybe like high school or college theater, like something like theater, like a film, maybe like a public speaking, something in that.
You crushed that.
Because I remember like I was not a good public speaker, and I had a good theater teacher that helped bring it out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Where she was just like, hey, like, fucking who gives a shit? Like,
You think that's the one that really got you on the path of like getting comfy in front of people?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Where it was like she would just put me out there, and she's like, fucking go up there, and I would start shaking, and she would like throw a shoe at me. Like it was, she was dope.
I was gonna say,
And not
what
in a
were her-
bad way. It was not in a bad, like a light throw. She goes, stop getting nervous. She goes, this is what you should be nervous about, me throwing shit at you. He goes, the audience is not gonna throw shit at you. And like it was like this weird like,
Wow,
cool,
what a tactic.
She was dope.
What was her name?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I had her for a year.
It's like those classic comedy intros that people will give, like a host will do. This next guy's hilarious. One of my best friends.
Yeah.
What's your name again?
No fucking idea. Yeah.
Dice Clay brought me up at the Comedy Store once and goes, I'd never met him. I know who he is.
Yeah.
Don't know who the fuck I am. And this proved it 10 times over. He goes, who's next? Jeff Scott, R.I.P., was a keyboard player at the Comedy Store for 30 years. And Jeff goes, Adam Ray. And he goes, who? Just right there, I go, fuck. And the audience is like laughing. He goes, hey. And then he goes, who? And he goes, Adam Ray. And he goes, this next guy is one of the greats. He goes, you've seen him on Everything You Love. One of the best in the biz working. Keep it going for Alan Gray.
That's a good name, though.
It was awesome.
That's dope.
Yeah, and I went up there and I just, it was awesome. Okay. Well, I love that, though, because the theater teachers don't get enough love as far as the way they have shaped, because I'm the same way, man. Those types of people that get you comfy on the stage, and then, like, that's the early training for this without even knowing it.
And she wasn't even sweet about it. Like, I don't think she was even... think she was making
throwing
a
fucking Doc Martens
she
at
was
you.
just like, we got to get this place like start. Like it was like we would be painting sets and we would sing the song from Les Miserables, like look down, don't look her in the eye. Like she was this intense, crazy theater teacher, but like it helped me break out of the shell.
I love that.
And so yeah.
What if heaven exists? Or did I say what profession would you not like to do? No.
Oh no.
If what profession would you not like to do?
Anything in the medical field, like blood makes me.
Oh really?
Yeah.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I would say, well, looks like you were wrong, bitch, because I'm agnostic. Yeah, so he would just be like, oh, looks like you were wrong.
Look who it is.
Yeah, look who it is. That's great. Yeah, look who it is.
Here's Tony. Yeah. Or he goes, the Cheaters guy.
He goes, you should have done Cheaters. And he shows me a timeline. He goes, it goes from Cheaters, then Johnny Depp, and then you're married to Amber Heard. You cheated on Amber Heard with Johnny.
It's kind of a full circle thing.
Honestly, good for him, though, because it would have rebooted his career. Yeah. So.
You're the reason Johnny Depp isn't working anymore. You know what? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, go to hell. And it's just me and Eric Roberts smoking cigars, and we're like, sometimes our siblings just have it better.
Unbelievable. Tony Casillas on Instagram and Twitter.
At comedian Tony C.
At comedian Tony C. Your tour dates are everywhere. Follow him. Go see him. A rising superstar in the making. Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Zoa. Thanks, Rock. Guys, Adam Ray here for the About Last Night podcast. Hope you enjoyed that episode. It was a good one. A lot of laughs, a lot of tears, a lot of stuff to think about and chew on, huh? Because that's what life's all about. Chewing on the good stuff. Nobody said that. Maybe Denzel did. Maybe Tom Hanks did. Maybe they said it together in Philadelphia. The point is, click subscribe right here on the ALN logo so you can get more episodes and stay up to date when new content drops. Highlights, animations, clips. It's all here for you, baby. I'll see you next time. Whoop, I don't know how to blink.